Welcome back to By Design, an Acast Network podcast. I'm your host, Whitney Young, and I'm so glad you're here. Today's guest is Claire Shaner. She is a bi plus baddie and hairstylist who moved out to LA from Ohio in 2022 and built her business from the ground up. She went from having 0 clients in a new city, which is what happens when you move somewhere and start fresh, to now being like the queer stylist, or like the stylist for queer women and Hollywood it girls. She's even been compared to Shane from the L Word, which she has some thoughts on, and we will get into it. But if you're on Woman Loving Woman TikTok, you've probably seen some of her videos. She's had a lot of viral TikToks of her hair consultations and transformations, the most famous of which, and this is actually how I discovered Claire, was with content creator Georgia Bridgers. And the TikTok was like, my first date is cutting my hair or something like that. And the premise was that they had gone on a first date the night before, and then Claire was cutting Georgia's hair the following day. That video has millions of views. I don't even know what it's at, but it went super viral, and that I feel like the rest was history for Claire. Like, she just took off after that. And yeah, her content is great. I was fortunate enough to get my hair cut by Claire while I was in LA, actually right after we filmed this interview. And yeah, I'm going to keep this intro short because we have a lot to get to. It's a longer episode. And I was just super excited to have Claire on By Design because she is so cool and vibrant and just like someone that like you want to be friends with, you know, those types of people where you're like, she's cool, I want to be friends with her. That's Claire Shaner. Also a very inspiring person just in terms of what she has, again, built after moving to LA and not knowing anybody, and now being, just 2 years later, being like a top hairstylist. It's really, really cool in terms of, you know, creating your own career and like paving your own road, paving your own path, which is what this podcast is all about. So if you're enjoying By Design, I would love it if you took just a moment. I think it takes literally 5 seconds, maybe less, to rate and review this podcast wherever you're listening to it. It does make a difference and it means a lot to me. I really appreciate it. So yeah. All right, let's get into it. Thing called that helps you hang something? Like
a level.
That makes sense. Make sure it's level. So you are handy. You're like, you know how to do all the things.
I'm extremely handy, yes. I can technically build a house.
What?
Yeah.
How did you learn things? Like, how did you learn how to build a house?
My family used to go on mission trips, so I know the lore behind mission trips is a little iffy, but
like with church.
Yeah. Okay. So my mom, she was a trauma nurse for like the beginning part of my life, and then she was a mission pastor.
Oh,
so
wow.
She's a reverend now. She's trying to go back into nursing, but she was a reverend for a while, but she was the minister of mission at our church.
Okay.
And we had a community church, and we were very much based about like just doing nice things for people and just be nice to people and whatever. So our mission trips were very like non-traditional mission trips. It was like, it was always during spring break for high schoolers. So it was like high school kids would go during spring break. So, yeah. So it's either you choose to go on vacation or you go on the mission trips. And my dad was one of the leaders and my mom was the like main leader of the trip or whatever. And it always just like made more sense to me to do something like that because I was like, what am I going to do? Just fucking lay on a beach? And stare at the sky and like think about my life?
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to do. And also, what do I have to think about? I'm in high school. I have no, like, well, okay. And I think about like I have no friends. Like, what do I do?
Yeah.
But like at the mission trips, it was like kids from, I grew up in Ohio in Columbus. Mm-hmm. So there was like 4 surrounding school districts, and all of those, if your spring breaks lined up, you would go. You could go either school. You could go on this trip together. So anybody that was in the church, whether it came from any school district, you could go. So you'd meet other kids from other schools and go on this mission trip for 7 days. We stayed in tents in Tecate, Mexico.
Wow.
And so we would fly to San Diego and then drive across the border and then just camp there for a week. And like we would build 5 houses, and each group got assigned a family, and we would get to know the family. Sometimes they would want to like be really involved. The kids usually wanted to like help, even if you didn't speak Spanish, they still wanted to like hang. And they were so cute. They were so cute. Yeah. But also like we could go and we would like create such like just nice friendships because you actually talk to each other. Yeah. Like you're doing something with your time. Like we're all these like able-bodied like teenagers. Like why am I not doing something like important? And so we don't use any like power tools or anything. It's all just like hand construction. So learned how to like level ground, mix cement, do chicken wire, like do roofing, like sidings, all that kind of stuff, put windows and doors in.
That is amazing.
Basic construction. But since my dad was a leader, he does all that stuff. So now any construction I do is, I'll just call my dad.
Okay,
I base it off of that. Like I base it off of what I learned like there. So I can do like very basic stuff, and then anything from then on I kind of like taught myself. But I just like loved doing like handy stuff and like working with my hands and like making things and like doing things for other people. So that kind of like goes hand in hand to why I do so. Like, oh yeah, my friends will call me like the local gay handyman, and they'll just come.
So nice.
Come pick me, like, can you come hang up a shelf for me? Thank you. Or like,
it's like something so simple for you. Yeah.
I just went to my friend's house the other day, and they were like, I came over. I was like, hey, do you need any company or like help packing or moving, whatever? And I got there, and they're like, oh, our task rabbit's going to be here. Like,
or what?
Our task rabbit. Oh, like, and I was like, what do you need a task rabbit for? They're like, oh, they're going to hang a TV. I was like, why didn't you just tell me that? They're like, I didn't know you could hang a TV. I said, look at me. Look at me. She goes, I forgot how gay you are. Oh my God. And I was like, I was like, I just took my toolbox out of my car. She was like, oh. And I'm having to pay like $300 to get her two TVs hung up. And I was like, girl, if I can install a window, I can mount your TV on the wall.
That is incredible. You can build. So would you ever like actually, do you want to build your own house one day?
When I was in Ohio, I had a small interior design business. So I like loved, I did all the renovations myself from like learning my own handy stuff. So I did that, and I just have loved anything like artistic since I was like a little kid. Like
that's cool.
I went to school to be an art teacher, so that's like what I wanted. Wow. Anything involving art or anything artistic, I was like, give me some of that. Yeah. And when it came to like my house, even now, and moving into apartments, I just am like obsessed with like making things customized. Yeah. So like obviously in LA it's so expensive here. Like I would love to, I'm gonna stay in my apartment until my landlords come busting down the door. Like,
did you get a good deal? Was it like one of those like
first? I actually, my friends lived here in the house that I live in for 4 years, and I would come and visit them like every once in a while just to like figure out where I wanted to live, like get the lay of the land before I just like go balls deep and just buy a place that I don't know where I'm at. Yeah. And then you end up in like mid city and I'm scared. I don't know where anyone is.
Yeah. And exactly. You have no idea, like the huge mistake that I made when I moved out here at 22 and having, never really spent time here or anything was, I was like, oh, well, Hollywood's the center of it all. I'll just live in Hollywood.
Everybody does that, and they're like, it's not a cheap apartment.
Yeah, this is amazing.
Me in the middle, Walk of Fame, sign me up.
I was on,
and you're getting accosted on the street.
It was so bad. Not walkable at all.
No, physically, yes.
Yes.
Safety, no.
No, absolutely
Safety,
not.
No.
And I'm like a walker. I'm like, every day I take my walk, and it was not conducive.
Hot girl walks to that. You can't be a hot girl and walk in Hollywood.
No, you're fighting for your life.
Hot girl walk, don't call it that. No. Incognito girl walk. Cover yourself up.
Yeah, exactly.
Cover yourself up.
Yes, especially at 22, where you're like, you're just like baby. Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm seeing the sights.
It's amazing.
I'm having a great time. Yeah. No one's gonna punch me out of nowhere. No one's gonna scream absurdities at me. Oh, it's fine.
This is totally safe and totally fine. I need to remind myself to face this way more, because otherwise I'm like this the whole time and my hair covers my face.
Cut it off.
Well, it's funny you should mention that.
Because, be like me. Get your scissors out at midnight.
It looks like
that's what I did.
It looks like that's what we're doing today. I've been on the fence about it. So
you've
Claire,
been on the fence about
it. I've
been on the fence
about it. Before
even like we had a conversation
for like a year.
Yeah.
So I DM'd you the first time a year ago right now and was like, I think I'm going to be in LA and I think I want to do a chop and I want to do content around it, whatever. Mm-hmm. And we like were talking about that, and then I chickened out. Fast forward a year, you were coming on the podcast and I was like, it's summer.
What time is it?
Yeah, exactly. It's time.
Get me in here.
Time.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to do it.
I know that.
And I have an idea, and I sent you my idea, but do you have any thoughts? Because somebody brought this up on a TikTok I posted, and they were like, ask Claire what her vision would be.
Yeah, I feel like every person that I've ever met anywhere, even if I'm like out at the bar, I'll be like slurring my words, and they're like, "Do you think I should have bangs?" I think if you put this over here and you make it like this long, it'd be so nice. And then they'll be like, "I'm gonna totally hit you up. I'll totally get my hair done." Like,
and do they?
Sometimes, yes.
Okay,
if they ask for like my Instagram or something, yes. But they'll be like, "No, I would totally," and then I never see them again. They could be dead, and I wouldn't know. But like, no, for your hair, I feel, and you've experienced it with colors, yes. Yes. I think that for blonde, how would you describe, like, what is like the 3 things that you wish to change about your hair? Or if you're like, I'm so obsessed with myself and I love myself, there's not 3.
I just love myself so much. No,
I'll give you one.
I'll take one. I think like the big thing is I've gone throughout my life, I've gone from this shoulder length look to growing it out, and then the shoulder length, growing it out. So I have like these 2 sides, like 2 Whitneys, if you will. And so it would just be going back to that, like the other me, and just kind of a change, because it's been this way for 2 years now, or 2 years. Okay. And it's just like, it's summertime, it's a switch up. Chops are always fun. It's always fun to like make that change. Yeah.
Surprise, shorty. Right, anytime that I can make people go, what? I'm gonna do it.
Oh my God. Yeah, exactly.
Will I regret it?
Yeah.
I have done that. I go, dude, I've never experienced shaving the size of my head. What if I shave the size of my head? And I was like, this looks sick. And then I watched it one time, and there's a video. I have a TikTok. Go look at it. It's a video of me doing Caitlin Ray's hair. Bless her. We're very good friends now. I looked at that video. The sound got removed during all that when the songs were getting removed.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my God. What a nightmare.
So it removed the whole sound of me talking because it was connected to one sound. And I was like, the hair slayed, but I did think about deleting it because I was like, you know what? I went too far that time. And then I started wearing hats after that because I was like,
oh yeah, the hat. Yes.
My front profile was not giving what I was thinking it was
What was shaved? The sides?
Yeah, I had like a mullet, and then I faded my sides up. I was just in the mirror one day, and I was like, look at we ball. And I had never felt like what a razor felt, and at one point I wanted during COVID I wanted to shave my head. Okay. Because I was like, fuck it. Well, who cares?
Yeah.
Who's gonna?
No one's gonna see me for like 3 months.
And then, I saw myself from the side, and I never mind.
You're like,
it's a silhouette of myself. I had a slick back bun. I did that the other day, and I was reminded very firmly why I stopped doing that, because it looks like right here, like this is volume on my head. It is not. It's my skull, and it was slicked back and like, so it goes like up and then like curves inwards like an almond. And so like when I had it in a ponytail, and there's a picture of me. I was standing in front of this beautiful sunset. Picturesque. Imagine we're here. We're at a bar. We're at a rooftop bar. Yeah. This is a window and a beautiful sunset. I'm on my phone like this, with my head down like this. I look like a dinosaur, and I'm sitting like this. And my friend posts it like views from the rooftop, and I literally was like, "I'm gonna come to your house with a gun. You have done me so dirty. I know where you live. Take that down right now. And also, which one of you were gonna tell me my hair looked like that? I wore my hair like that probably every day, and not nobody said, hey."
But it's not the hair; it's your skull.
It's my head
that you don't like.
I can't do anything about it. No, but it emphasized, like, because when my hair's down, it's like, okay, volume, okay, a little crown volume, wrong. If I would have even just lifted up the bun a little bit, it would have made the ratio not so strange. But because it was a low pony, it was like
there it is,
inward ski slope.
Well, somebody said on this TikTok that I posted again today, being like, should I do the chop with Claire? Somebody said, and I've never gotten this compliment, that I had a nice shaped head for a shoulder length haircut, and I was like, I don't know how one assesses that specifically.
There are
really. So what is it? What is it? So anyone watching, if someone's watching, if you're like, should I get a shoulder length haircut? What is the head situation?
So I'll prompt the discussion about face shapes with my rule of me personally, TM Claire trademark. I don't care. 2, do whatever you want. And 3, your haircut will look as good as you think it looks. So like the amount of times that people will be like, does my face look with it? I don't care. Like the only time I will ever, I will ever step in with my opinion in a consultation if somebody is asking me what they want is if their hair physically can't do it.
Okay.
Like, it is very rare that I will say, no, you shouldn't get that because it won't do this or that.
Yeah.
It's like, no, physics, your hair can't. Like, it's literally like, I had a girl come in, she wanted bangs, right? She had, first of all, very small forehead. So and by small, I mean literally this big. Like,
my God.
Forehead was two head, like small. And so, like this. And so I was like, two head, slay. She had naturally very thick, coarse, curly hair.
Okay.
She showed me cutie little bangs, like Sabrina Carpenter bangs.
Okay. Yep.
Slay.
Yeah.
Love. However, physics wise, because her forehead was so small, to get it to look like Sabrina Carpenter's, her bangs would have to be this long. So on the average forehead, that would be a micro bang. But on hers, because her hair was curly, it's already hard to get hair that's curly to lay the way you want, let alone when it's only 2 inches long. You can't create a bend on 2 inches of hair.
Right.
So I was like, I'm going to let you know this. I said, I'm going to tell you something. And after I tell you it, you can tell me to fuck off. That's so valid. And I believe you. You're valid in your opinions.
Valid.
I'm going to tell you what I think, and you can tell me to fuck off. And it was, I can do that.
Yeah.
It will not look like that. I was like, I can do what you're telling me, the little bangs. It will not like that. If you quite literally do not care, and you're like, put them on me, girl. Let's go. And she was like, I kind of just want to do it anyway. And I was like, all right.
Wow.
And I gave her the bangs. And did they lay right? Not really, but she felt.
Did she like it though?
She loved.
Oh my God. Okay.
They were, but also like, if I'm like putting in my elbow grease to get your bangs, if I'm like body slamming your hair, like bless to whatever you believe in, and I hope that you can do that later, because that's the only time I ever say anything is if like I am having a hard time, like if I can't do it, like respect, but, you know, but anyway, for what I think you should do with your hair, right. Bringing it back around, I think that, I mean, I gave you my ideas similarly, but I think that Whitney should get a French bob. And by French is thrown around. The word French is thrown around. Okay. A lot of words are thrown around in terminology for hair. But
that scares me because
French is apparent to whose face it's on, because the length changes depending on your face. So for you, I think like 2 inches below your chin. So that's about like right here-ish. Okay. And like on you, it would be like where this short piece is. Oh. Something like that. And then have it be very blunt. Very blunt. Blunt. Because with your hair, you have like, let me touch your head.
Yep.
You have a lot of fine hairs. So the more, the better. But with bluntness, it gives your hair like a fuller look. But then some sort of surface layering. So surface layering is a little term that I made up to describe layers that don't structurally change your haircut. So it won't, like if you don't dry it or anything, it won't like curve inwards. It's just, it is what it is. Okay. But if you do style it or you put some texture in it, it'll give it a little something. So the layers are on the outside of your hair, but don't change the shape of your haircut. It just adds a little bit of texture and movement. So if you do want to like put a little curl in it, it gives you some pizzazz. But I like the way that your hair bends already as is, like right around your cheekbones. Okay. And then like, I just think it would give you so much more like it would give you a little spunk to you.
I love that. I know exactly what you mean when you do that.
Yeah. When you like, it gives you like a little
we need we need a word for whatever that is, because that's like I see people doing it on TikTok all the time. I think
it gives rich. It gives rich when people have like that really clean bob. It's giving rich to me.
And this is, you said 2 inches below.
Yes. So where this little piece is, beep, like that being the length of your hair, almost kind of like right above your shirt line. Okay. Like just like right here-ish.
Is it resting on the shoulders?
No, above.
It's above.
The rule is when you're getting a bob, don't get it right just dusting the shoulders. Yeah. Because it will almost immediately within 3 weeks be touching your shoulders, and it's going to flip out and you're going to hate it. If it's like a new haircut, if you've never done a bob before. Yeah. And then when you have had a bob before, you know what it feels like when it starts to touch your shoulders and you're like, I'm going to start swinging on people in the street because I hate it. And it flips out like
from a sensory issue?
And it just looks like a water slide at the back of your head.
Yeah. But that's like the haircut that, and I don't personally like it, the like Lord Farquaad haircut that all these women
says that.
got.
Where is he? Bring him out. Everybody says they hate him. Bring him out. Bring out Lord Farquaad. Just a little man sitting right here.
He's just a little man.
Just a little man. Why is everyone making fun of him? Why don't we make fun of Snape? He's at least a grown man.
Yeah,
because that's similar
true.
vibes.
It does.
Similar vibes. And also the amount of girls that I've had that have come into my salon and say, my coworkers say I look like Lord Farquaad. Hey. Start swinging.
Yeah.
Start swinging on people. Don't let your coworkers say you look like Lord Farquaad. That's
but I
so
don't
rude.
want, but you know the cut I mean when I
Also,
say that.
yes, and I have tried to explain this to girls. There is a ratio with a haircut that goes from like face framing, perimeter point, which is like the perimeter is the length of your hair. Like literally like this part. This is the perimeter of your hair.
Okay.
So that's what makes the length. The little face frame, perimeter point, and then the back of the perimeter. So where it lays on the back of your head. If you do a one length haircut, technically from the back, like if I brush it all down and I cut it straight across, when you pull it forward, it will have a natural angle to the front. Just because when you pull your hair back, it's making this part longer. So when you bring it forward, just from the weight of it going from up to down, it will be longer. So the only time you will run into having a Lord Farquaad haircut is if you're going to get face framing and a bob, you have to have a slight longer angle in the front. It will feel like it doesn't need to be like what's the lady from The Incredibles that with the sleek white bob?
Yes.
It doesn't need to be like it doesn't need to be like a full sword to the front. Just like the slightest bit, because then when you do that face framing, that's cutting away from that front point. So if you make everything one length and then you cut away, you're cutting away that length in the front because it's coming from that front chunk of your hair. So then that's when the angle, once it starts going like this back towards your head, that's where you get into Lord Farquaad hair territory.
That's
because his hair is it swoops down and longer in the back.
It's so funny.
And it's so blunt and like you can't be doing that. If you're going to have any face framing, the framing is like 3 pieces or a full bang. You have to commit. It needs to be either like a little like a bend of like 3 hairs, or like you need to go balls to the wall, because if you try to like, no, I want it all and then I want some face frame, it will not work.
It's just it
will not work.
Okay, so your vision or advice suggestion would be the French bob.
Yes.
What I sent you, do you remember what I sent you? It was the pictures. It was Hailey Bieber circa like 2015 or something. It was when she had the short blonde haircut. How is that different?
So French bobs are traditionally mostly like all one length, but they have if you're looking straight forward, their profile has a wider base here and then something like tighter around the face. And obviously it's European, which is like French. It's like, it's supposed to be like short so that when you tuck it behind your ear, it will cling to like perfectly where your jawline is.
Yes.
So like a lot of like European cuts, they're always tucked behind the ear, like that kind of vibe. But it sits like really cute when you tuck it behind. But when you pull it forward, it's like right below your jawline. It's more like stylistically just like a general aesthetic, but what you sent me is just like a longer bob. Yeah, it's a lob type moment.
A lob.
So that's the difference between
that's
the two.
like if I'm not feeling as bold or as courageous.
I mean, you can always go shorter, who cares? I always tell people, I'm like, I can start here, and then if you want to keep going, like, let's go crazy.
That might
I do that with bangs for people a lot when they're not sure. When they say, I don't know, you tell me. No.
Bangs?
I simply will not be telling you anything about your bangs, because I'm not going to have you coming in here with a knife later. You hate your bangs.
Bangs are so precarious. Like, I feel like for me, I had side bangs in high school circa like 2007, as did everyone. Right.
I also had gingivitis. I literally have a picture of me with a side bang and gingivitis.
Wait, what does gingivitis look like?
When your gums are really big and your teeth look small because you have braces.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was like, how do you have a photo of gingivitis?
Oh, there's a photo of it. It'll look like it.
We need to see this. We need to see the photo.
I was like, I'll show you that. Let me look for it. You keep talking while I look for it.
Okay, so this allows me to get into my next topic, which is that you moved out here from Ohio.
Sure did.
And you have cut the hair of so many like well-known TikTokers and content creators and models and things like that. How did you break into how did this happen? I feel like I would come out here.
I just work here.
I would come out here and I would be like cutting hair at like Hair Zoo or something in like Glendale.
Get great clips. No, I literally
cuts.
I was minding my business. And that's all. There's no real like lore story. There's nothing crazy that like happened, or I was like reaching out to people. When I first moved out here, a lot of people were telling me that, oh wait, here's my side bang.
Oh my God.
And my gingivitis. Look at my gums. You see what I mean?
Oh my God, what?
What was your question?
Okay, so
how did I start doing it?
There's no big like in or connection that you have. You just were doing your work. And
all of those people that I started doing their hair, it was very, very, very fast. Like very fast. All those things started happening very fast. It all started when I started getting attention on my videos, because people started reaching out to me asking if I could cut their hair. Like it was, when I moved here, I got told, reach out to like pretty girls and I'd say you'll do their hair for free. And I was like, actually, no, I will not be doing that, because I have never given away free hair, and I will never do that, because my craft is worse. I've been here 9 years. I'm not gonna just like bring myself I'm not like fresh.
You're not
out
18.
the scene. No, exactly. I'm not fresh out on the scene, and like I believe in myself enough to be able to like, I'd rather have people that are willing to pay for it. And also a lot of the time these influencers have enough money to pay me for it, so I'm not doing that.
Hell yeah.
And if my Joe Schmo coming from down the street in the grocery store, he can pay for it, so can you. Like no, like I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that to my other clients who are willingly paying me money. Like I'm not doing that.
Right.
But with these people that reached out to me, it was because I started posting my face in my videos. I know my videos never got any traction before I started posting my face in them. I would just post like transformation, just like, oh, this is what the hair looked like before. But like every other hairstylist has ever done that. But I posted, the first one I got was doing my best friend Chandler's hair, and she is known for changing her hair every like 3 seconds.
Okay.
And I literally, bless her, Chandler's my best friend. That is the reason why I still do colors, because of Chandler, basically, because she changes her haircut, so it really keeps me on my toes. But that was the first video where I had showed myself with short hair. Like, at all. I had one video before, but I had a hat on. My hair was long. You couldn't really see my face at all. It was just like a quick.
Oh wow!
Like, with the Princess Diaries, like this, and then this turns to this. Like that was like the vibe. Yeah. But with Chandler, this was the first time that someone heard me talking, and with the way I looked, and like the comments didn't care about the hair. It was just people like being weird about me.
Was it just all like woman loving woman TikTok?
Oh yeah, for sure. Or like married women from Minnesota and their kids. They'll be like, I can leave my husband for you. Don't
Please
leave your husband for me. Please.
I think the first video that I saw when you came up in my FYP was with Georgia Bridgers.
Yes, ma'am.
And what was so funny about that was that y'all had gone on a date.
We had. Was
it the night before?
Yeah.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
Does that happen often?
No, not really.
Okay, so that was
I definitely will offer to cut people's hair if I've gone on a date with them. I will offer. Like if it doesn't go well, like whatever, like who cares? But I'll offer to cut it. Like if they're like, what would you do with mine? I'm like, I'll go do it. Me and Georgia actually, we wanted to cut her hair at 4100. I was like, I have my scissors in the car. We could do it right now.
Oh, we thought it'd be place? Funny. 4100?
Yeah, a bar.
Okay.
We were like, we just thought it'd be so funny. But like she and I had known each other for like 2 years or so beforehand. So we were already like homies. We were homies, and we had like decided to go on. We only like really like had any sort of relationship is very loose. It was very like a week. Like it was not long. It was very much like we're friends, homies, whatever.
Yeah.
And we were at the bar with our friend. Our first date got like bombed by our friend. And because he was like having a hard time, and we were like, oh well, we should go get him. He called me and asked me what I was doing, and I was like, oh, it doesn't sound very good. And George was like, should we go? And I was like, yeah, we should go get him. So we drove to Studio City to go get him. And like hung out with him for a while. And that was like our first day was like with our guy friend pretty much. But then we went to a bar with him. We brought him with us, and we were like kicking, having a little time. Yeah. And she was like, we should cut my hair. And I was like, dude, we should make a video about it. Like we should like make content with it. Like we should do like first date does my hair, like that kind of thing. Like I was already gonna do it. Like, I was already gonna do it anyway. Yeah. And then she was like, I'm really gonna like work it up in mine, like being like, oh my God, I'm going to the day, like blah, blah, blah. I knew what she was doing. Like
it wasn't like you just met. It wasn't.
I know for 2 years.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and people were like, "Oh my God!" The way that people could not let it go after we stopped talking was insane. Because also, like in the video, like the entire point was like, Georgia's like sarcasm and like intent for like the comedy person of the video was supposed to be like, I'm like sought after this person, and they're kind of being mysterious and blah blah blah. Meanwhile, like we're like the loudest Leos in the building. We're like la 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 la. Like no one, we already knew each other. We already knew everything about each other. Like I was just like, I had not really had my face like that often on camera, so I was still a little bit like kind of like like about
you
being
were
on
kind of
camera.
like in the background still
well,
a little bit.
I'm at my job, you know, so
Right.
like a lot of people don't understand, like I'm literally just working right now, so I can't be like la la la, or they expect me to be, and if I'm not, they're like, damn, she seems like she sucks. Like she seems like I had somebody comment saying she seems like a bitch. I was like, no, because all my comments were like, the bitch you that kissed after, and so I was like, okay, well I clearly can't smile at my clients anymore,
right?
Or they're gonna think we scissored later.
God.
And I was like, I can't. What do you? This isn't a big salon. What do you think I'm doing later?
Yeah, right.
No, dude. But with Georgia's, it was. We were already homies, and I cut her hair. She made a little video about it. I made a consultation video about it, and did not in my wildest dreams expect it to get. I think Georgia's has like 6 million views. I think now
it went
I haven't
super
checked in a while.
viral.
But like hers went crazy because it was like, I'm going to, like, this girl's cutting my hair and she's going on a date. Mine was just like my content of doing hair. And but like people would literally be on me Georgia's lives like after that, being like, where's Claire, where's Georgia, we were like, at home, I don't know,
living our lives.
We posted, and I can't even imagine with the people that post their relationship as publicly, that like how they are at, because I'm like, we posted one video together and it was like planned to like intentional,
right?
Like, and I know that some people like do that. I would never do a relationship as a like, oh, we should like post videos of this for the ideal of posting videos of it. Like, no, it's like you're just with me all the time, so duh.
Right.
But when it came to that, like, if we actually ended up dating after that, no, I wouldn't post anything after that.
It's
you
just
like,
do content
no,
together.
I'm not exploiting my relationship. No, it's just like, no, that was funny. Like, we'll do it. But people really took that and ran with it. And then any video afterwards on any of my clients, people were like, oh my God, the tension is crazy. Like,
that like, is the comment. It is always.
Oh my God. But God forbid I'm gay and talk.
I know.
Ever.
It's just the sapphic energy. It's the queer energy, I think, honestly. But I guess, I think in that video, like, if you and Georgia did have a thing at that time, like, it was coming through a little bit. So like, that's always cute.
Oh, sure.
You know?
Sure.
People always want something to
ship.
Well,
because that's on purpose, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, right.
Going from on purpose, and then just like my regular girl clients that are not gay, they're just there. And God forbid, I'm like, I feel bad for them getting like being in my comments, being like, oh, but like, I'm straight, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, girl, I know. I don't know what nobody else can. I don't know why nobody else can get on that train.
Nobody else is getting
I'm
the
aware.
message.
But it was very jarring going from being in a professional work setting and filming myself doing it, and then having people take me seriously. And it got to a point where I was like nervous about people booking appointments with me, because people were like, oh, I had a girl come up to me at a queer dance party, and she was like, she yelled, Claire, and I was like, hello? First of all, I was like, oh, so you must know me, because what person in their right mind doesn't know someone and yells their name across a bar? So I'm like, huh? And I turn around and I'm like, oh, I don't remember this person. And I feel bad. I'm like, oh, she was one of my clients. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
This girl comes, she goes, I didn't know if I should book an appointment or ask you on a date. And I was like, literally neither. Neither restraining order. Absolutely not. But like, dude, like, what? It just got to the point where it was just like uncomfortable for a while, because people were like hitting on me, and then I got worried that if I spoke to them the wrong way, that people would have an insinuating thought about me, like wanting to get with them. Like, I've had a couple people, like, they're usually younger girls, will come and get their hair cut, and some of them will be kind of like try to like be like smiley and giggly at me, and I'm like,
wait, how old are you?
I'm 26.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just, but like, I'll have younger girls that will come in and be a little weird, but then people will be in my DMs like weird.
Yeah, what are some of the weirdest DMs you've gotten?
I've had people that I've done their hair like be in my DMs and my comments
in a
and
creepy
stuff.
way.
Yeah, well, they're trying to hit on me, and I'm like, girl, this ain't it. Because now I don't want to do your hair,
right?
Dude.
Exactly. Oh, that's
well, because
so
I'm trapped in there, and it also was to a point where people were showing up to my salon. I moved salons to a private place, so like there's front door and like people before that can like, stop someone before seeing me. But like, there was like a week there where I think some of my videos were showing up, and people were coming to my salon and like knocking on the window and being like or on my door and being like, do you have time for a consultation? And I was like, first of all, my hands physically are cutting hair right now, so maybe
what does it look like?
Context clues huge right now.
Yeah.
And also no. Also no, message me.
Yeah.
But there was a girl that like came to the reception desk at where I work, and they don't let anyone come to my door if I don't know that they're coming. Like, whatever. They'll be like, just message her then if you're here, because they want to make sure they're not sending anybody to me that I don't know. But he was like, this girl's here that she like wants to talk to you before she leaves. And I was like, sucks. Like, I don't know. God. But she literally was like basically being like, I don't want to leave without talking to her about like what I should do or whatever. And he was like, just go on her website. I don't know what to tell you. Like,
there
whatever.
are many ways to contact you.
But that's literally why I went to a private place, because I mean, people create parasocial relationships all the time in their head, and like, you don't have access to those people because their job is the internet. So like, they can be at their house and not go anywhere, but like, my job is public and everyone knows where I work, what days I work, what hours I'm there, and they can just come and show up, and I just think they're a client. They could be really weird and I wouldn't know. So like, it's like a duo of like, I don't like, TikTok's not my job. I take videos of my job. And like, so it's kind of gets confusing, I think, for people to like not understand that like, I'm in a professional setting and there's like inappropriate behavior that you can do, even if it's like within your best interest. Like, you're thinking that it's like, oh, I just want to go get my hair cut. And I'm like, that it's just weird. And like, I feel like there's a privacy thing that gets uncomfy.
For sure. It reminds me, and I don't know, have you watched The L Word?
I started it. No one yell at me. I didn't know. Yo, y'all are crazy. When everybody told me about The L Word, I was like, okay, like, sounds great. And then I like started clicking on, I was like, you guys are go outside. Oh my God. I was like, yeah, no wonder everybody likes this show.
No, but it's like such a canon experience, I feel like. And
people be treating me, I got the amount of comments I got saying I'm Shane is crazy.
That's what I was going to say.
It doesn't help that my last name is Shaner.
I was going to say, you're a hairstylist, you're a queer hairstylist in LA, and Shane is in your last name, Shaner.
Yeah.
So I had to ask if you've gotten that comparison.
All the time.
Because even what you're talking about, it sounds like what Shane deals with on the show.
It literally is. And because at first I was like, I don't know who y'all are talking about. I don't know who this person is. I looked it up. No one would yell at me. And if this gets passed on through the internet to the person from The L Word, when I saw her haircut, I was like, now you all are evil for saying that is what my hair looks like. And they're like, no, it's just like the wet brunette hair. I was like, yeah. Whatever. But I was like, y'all are foul for that. But I get the lore now later. But it definitely got to like, oh my God, Shane the L Word. And I'm like, listen, guys, I know that she be doing that. She be hooking up with her clients. I do not be hooking up with my clients. I could be dating somebody and then start doing their hair.
But it doesn't go the other way around.
No, it does not go the other way around.
Though people have tried, clearly.
No.
Okay.
I don't do that. Unless I see you at a social setting and you're like friends with my friends or something. But like,
that's different.
I'm not like, oh my God, speed date. Let's go. Right.
What are you doing after
hour.
this?
Yeah, no, I'm not. That's so inappropriate. And I just could never like, that's what gets really frustrating is like, it's a certain extent of like, yes, I want to be friends with my clients, but there are boundaries to be crossed, and there's a certain point where it's inappropriate, and like to insinuate that I would be the kind of person to like try to hit on my clients is like, what the heck is that about? You know?
Maybe it's some of these people projecting their own fantasy a little bit.
Sure,
like they watch the TikToks and they're like, I think there was tension and chemistry. Yeah. So okay, based on social media, you like. One might deduce that like you know a lot of, you're kind of in the queer woman loving woman whatever scene out here. You know a lot of people. A lot of people know you. Speaking of The L Word, is the LA sapphic scene as messy and incestuous and like drama? Like, is it the way that it seems and is portrayed?
Absolutely. And in the sense that's hesitation. Like absolutely. However, I've tried to explain this to people before that have like come here or visited here or moved here and being like, well, I don't want to hang out with these influencers or these influencers this and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, first of all, you hating from outside of the club. But also like, hey, a lot of the time, like these are normal people. Yeah. Like they are normal people and it's just as messy as your friends are. Like it is, God forbid these people have a platform of some sort. However, like, yes, some people are like, I've met them and they've given me a bad vibe. I mean, I'm Midwestern, so I'm like, hey girl, like you can put me in the corner and I talk to myself. Like there's no surprise there. But yes, I have met some people where I'm like, I did not like the way that they were like talking to me or like kind of dismissing me, because it was obviously that like, if they don't know who they're talking to, they don't understand like, oh, should I be talking to you? Like, I don't know if you're not from here, like whatever. But I try to give people the benefit of the doubt, especially because people like assume that influencers that have a big following are social. They assume that they're social people. They assume that, well, everyone knows you, so you should know everybody. But a lot of time, like I even try to explain that like I don't follow a lot of people.
Yeah.
I don't follow a lot of stuff. I'll end up in rabbit holes about like the Titanic or something. But like
submersibles.
No, yeah,
The
literally.
Titanic
I'm
and
like, I don't know. I get on lawn mowing TikTok a lot, but I'm like, I don't
lawn mowing.
Yeah, like watching people mow lawns. But I'm like, I'm gonna know you when I know you. So I'm gonna talk to you when I know you. So if I meet you out, then I'll be the judge of how I feel about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I usually give somebody, I think of the insinuating circumstance, which is like where we are, what we're doing, and like, is there alcohol involved or whatever.
Right.
So if I meet somebody in an extremely large setting, where either alcohol could be involved or a bunch of strangers, if I meet you and you're kind of like cold to me, I'll keep it in the back of my head, but I'm not going to hold it to you, because if you're somebody who is used to being in your room by yourself and filming things alone, and then I meet you in this really overstimulating environment, and you're kind of like, I'm not going to be mad at you for doing that. Like, if I ask you about it later and you still suck, then like that's another conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like, I'll ask later. If I meet you again, I'll be like, yeah, the first time I met you, what was that about? But like, if they tell me like I was really overwhelmed, I'd be like, yeah, for sure.
Because that's totally something that happens. Like, obviously I'm a content creator, and like I have ADHD and anxiety, so there are times where I am I am so overstimulated, and that can come off. I mean, I don't know if anyone's had this experience of me. I hope not, but it could come off as kind of like like just standoffish or whatever, but it's because I'm literally like, I want to be in a dark, quiet room, and I'm not, and like that's what it.
Have you ever put your plugs in when you're out?
No, but I have some, and I need to use them.
I started doing that because I get like, I'm like medicated, so it's very rare that I have. That
must be nice. Yeah. I'm not for the ADHD. I need to be.
You broke. I'm up. It's very much like I'm medicated for my anxiety, because I realized a lot of my ADHD tendencies and panic came from anxiety rather than vice versa. Yes. Yeah. So like I got diagnosed when I was like 7. Like I used to have to sit under the table to read. Like I'm down bad. I'm also dyslexic, which doesn't help. But I would be like, I was like the crazy kid, but a lot of my panic around learning came from my anxiety of not having enough time, not having the right resources, like that kind of thing would make me freak out. But when it came to now, when I'm out and about, I'd like, my timer is getting shorter and shorter about how long I can be out.
The social battery.
Yeah. And like, and I'm like, I love music. I love being out. I love seeing live shows. Why am I like all of a sudden being like, I think if I stay here another second, I'm going to evaporate into a little like what am I doing? And I started wearing earplugs when I go into loud places, because I can still hear who's talking to me and my own voice, because I also was like, I don't want to yell at you.
Oh my God. Yelling all night.
It made me like, I started staying places longer, and I felt like I could like talk to people, so I'm not like tweaking out. I can like actually hear my own thoughts.
Is it loop earplugs?
I think it's like an off-brand or something like that. Yeah, because I have them on my keys. I'll show you later.
Oh yeah. The loop ones, I have those, and they look like a piercing. They almost
mine's the gold ones. Yeah, mine has a little gold thing in there. Yeah, but I wear those. I started wearing them just like for random things.
I really need to do that, because like I will feel myself. I'll feel almost like my eyelids are getting heavy.
Yeah, I start getting kind of tired because my body is like using so much mental energy to like stay awake and focus. Yes, that like especially
and process all the sensory
ADHD
input.
And talking to people, new people is really overwhelming. And like I'm very like, I try to remind myself as much as possible that my job, I talk to people all day long, so I'm very used to talking to people, and I can talk to anybody, and not everybody can do that, so it's not fair to pass judgment on somebody else who is not used to having like that much like back and forth, like and like intensive conversations. I just got my job because I tried to explain the other day, somebody, I don't know why people think that when I do hair, it's just like I'm like playing with a Barbie head, and like I'm gonna come home and I'm like, la, la, la. No, I'm like, I'm dying. I get home, like I have like spider veins, and I have like I have tendonitis in my hands.
Do you have like sciatica? I
have bad back pain. I have tendonitis. I have carpal tunnel in my left hand. I've been doing hair 9 years, and I'm 26, so like I'm on a downward spiral fast. But like I wear like orthopedic shoes when I am in the salon.
Oh, you would have to.
In my Air Force Ones. They're not Air Force Ones. They're Reeboks with a round sole.
Ooh.
But they're that I try to explain it as, my job is like, if you work in an office, and this is the best way I can describe it, is if you were in a performance review for 8 hours and you're standing while you're doing it.
Oh
so like
God.
It is, my boss is my client, and they're watching everything I do in a mirror the entire time. And a performance review, you're also therapizing your boss.
Oh my God.
It's like I'm talking to everybody about their problems like all day long, or they're asking me the same questions I've answered for every person 7 times a day.
Yes.
I thought about making like a little printout, like when dogs are at a kennel and it says like about me.
Yeah. That would
I'm
be great.
angry when I'm left alone. Like I want to be like on my thing. Like I'm Claire. This is how old I am. If I'm not talking, it's because I'm tired.
Exactly. Well, do you offer quiet appointments? Because that's a newer thing.
I should, but for myself.
Yes.
It's like I really don't get I don't get a lot of bad reviews or like bad feedback. And I mean, if I do, then they're not telling me. Mm-hmm. But if somebody says they don't like their haircut, I'm like, oh my God, not slay. Come back in, we'll fix it. Whatever. And like whenever that happens, usually people are very like chill about it. Or it's like, oh, I asked for this and it wasn't quite. I don't think I'm like wanted what I thought I wanted. That kind of thing. Right. It's very rarely like the haircut's bad. It's like I think I want to go shorter. Or I think I want to do this or whatever. Yeah. But even yesterday, I had like my own moment. I got a review on my own. Also, people assume that I have like a full salon. Hey, it's me and me. Yeah, and I don't have. It's me. I don't have an assistant. I don't have a front desk. I don't have whatever. It's literally me. So when you're messaging with something, it's an automated system through my booking app, and then I'm reading it. So like, if you think I'm not gonna see it, watch yourself because I see it. I see everything. But I had a girl. She wasn't complaining about her haircut. She said, "I loved my haircut so much, exactly what I asked for." But she was complaining about me. She said, she seemed very cold and like disinterested, blah, blah, blah. And when I'm in the salon, I have like a little TV in there and I'll play, whatever, like sometimes Love Island, blah, blah, blah. I do it so I don't go stir crazy because I'm in the same room for 9 hours a day by myself. God. And like music can get really, repetitive for me, like over a while. And like for somebody that I have like overstimulation things, if I hear the same thing over and over again, I'm like gonna freak out. I need like constant like conversation, and also kind of fills the space for people who maybe are more shy and they don't want to talk. It can fill that energy so they don't feel like they have to. Right. But she was like, it felt really cold, and she was like peeking out of the corner of her eye every once in a while at the TV, blah blah blah. But I felt like she should have been talking more, and I like messaged her and I was like, hey, so sorry if you felt like I was being cold. Like that's never my intention. I did a 6.5 hour color correction before you. Ooh. I'm on the spectrum. I was like, I'm on the spectrum. I get really like, I was battling a migraine. I was having a long day, and I'm just like really tired sometimes, and I can just not be chatty. Like, I'm glad you love your hair. Like, I'm sorry that I didn't like perform in the way that you were hoping. Like, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, I didn't expect like chatty. I just like expected a longer consultation. And in my head, I'm thinking, I was like, I know a lot of people see my videos and they expect every consultation to be long and tons of questions. I only ask questions that I need to know the answer to. So I will only ask people if I'm really wondering, like I need to know this, this, and this. If I have more questions, I will ask them. If I don't, it's because I know what I'm doing. It's not because I don't care about what you have to say about it. Right. You're disinterested. The necessary questions and you answer them. Yeah. And so in turn with saying I loved my haircut, you wouldn't love your haircut if I didn't do a good consultation. Yeah. That's just how that works. Like just because it's not as long and giggly and smiley as some of my other ones might be, who mind you, a lot of them are my friends that there's videos of. So like it's a very different ballgame, or they're my first of the day. So like towards 7 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's been 7.5 hours, like I'm starting to dwindle down. And oh my Lord, as long as you love your hair, my job is to make you love your hair. Yeah. My job is not to be a stand-up comedian. It's not to be like, I'm not here to like be filling every bit of silence. Like I know there are plenty of places that do that. Yeah. Like plenty of places that do that. But like she said something like, oh, like this amount of money consultation, like I expected. I was like, first of all, you don't pay money for the consultation, you pay for the haircut. Absolutely. I do a consultation in every every appointment I ever do. Like that's, everyone should do that. That doesn't make any sense. But like it does get kind of frustrating when I'm like, you can make a complaint about the hair. That's fine. Yeah. To me. But like making a complaint about me, I'm like just a person, you know? Yeah. I'm just a human being. Like I'm not in hospitality. I'm not a server. Like she just said like, I was just bummed out about the hospitality. And I'm like, do you want me to have like a towel over my arm and like, excuse me, ma'am, would you like a sparkling water? That would actually be, I got mini fridge. Maybe you should add that to your TikTok. Man, I got the white towel. I know. I'm like, I got like tea and coffee and whatever, but I'm just like, I'm trying my best, man. Like, it's difficult. That is a hard thing about having my stuff be online, because I think a lot of people have a misconception about me and my energies. I'm also like, I can be kind of quiet A lot of the time.
Yeah.
Unless I have something to talk. Also, hey, if you want to talk to me, talk to me. Just
Right.
ask me a question, I'll answer it. But I'm sitting there. I'm not going to talk unless you talk to me.
Yeah.
I'm just here to do my job, man.
Yeah.
I'm literally just here to do my job. I'm just here to cut hair. But if you're like, so what's your hobbies? I'll tell you.
Yeah.
But like, you got to ask me. Because I'm not going to
Yeah.
if it's not about hair, I'm not going to pry into your life. A lot of people, like a lot of moms will come
Mm-hmm.
to me and I'm their 1 hour of silence. I'm not going to press on you. I'm not going
Right.
to ask you about your life. I'm not going to do whatever. Just enjoy the ride, girl.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
yeah.
Also, I feel like if I have someone cutting my hair and they're not talking, it makes me think, okay, they're focusing on what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like, I appreciate
Do my
either
job.
way. I appreciate chat and I
Yeah.
appreciate the silence. It's fine. I can't imagine judging someone for like not like you didn't entertain me enough while you were doing a service.
Yeah, I was a little bit jarred. I also at that point I was like, I'm not gonna invalidate your experience if you felt like I was being a
Yeah.
wanker.
Yeah, yeah, right,
whatever,
right.
whatever.
You can
but,
have your experience of it. That's
yeah.
fine. But
well, and then like thankfully I have like enough like regular. She was like, loved my haircut, will not be returning. I was like, slay.
jeez, okay,
Slay.
okay.
Work, girl.
I think you have plenty of interest in your
Yeah.
services. And,
Yeah, I was
and-
like, no,
yeah,
I'll be okay.
That'll be fine.
But I did have to go and meet my friends out at a bar and like watch some music because I was like, do I not appeal to people? I
Am I unappealing?
I'm tired, please.
Yeah. Oh my God. I feel like the work that I've always done has been such that I work in spurts where I turn it on like this.
Yeah.
Like we record this for an hour and a half. And then I have like the most of the day I'm quiet and I'm like an introvert. But I've had these jobs where like I was a radio morning show host for a while.
Okay.
That was
You'll be good at
4
that.
hours. Well, thank
I'm sure you were good at
It
that
was,
if you already
yeah,
did it.
it was the pay was a bit of an issue.
Yeah,
but
sounds about right.
won't go into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was something where I'm on for 4 hours and then quiet for the rest of the day. And it's like that. So to your point, 9 hours on your feet doing a job that you have to pay attention to and be skillful at, and like having this really engaging conversation. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's asking a lot.
And
As
I
a
like
human.
love talking to people. So like if I'm
Yeah.
getting tired, I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
And also like I work in a big building with a bunch of little things, like
Yeah.
a bunch of little suites. I walk past, they're not talking.
Yeah.
They're not talking. Also, usually they got a little dog. I bring my dog sometimes, but like a lot of people just like their clients sitting there like with their eyes closed with like a little dog on their lap. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, why can't my guys just sleep?
Yeah.
why is everybody wondering what I'm doing?
Just go to bed.
Please.
Go to sleep.
I don't
Go
want
to
to tell
sleep.
my life story for the 7th time today. And also, like, if it was more interesting, I would tell you. But like, I think that people want me to be like, here's my passion, and I woke up when I was at 7, I would cut my Barbie's hair, and then I wanted to do all my friends, and I didn't have that. I didn't have that.
Right.
No,
Right.
that
And
was
some
not my
days you
story.
have stories and some days you just don't.
No, it's like sometimes I got stuff to talk about. Sometimes I'm feeling chatty. Sometimes I walk in and I'm like feeling a little crazy.
Yeah,
Just depends
yeah.
on what my vibe is.
Absolutely.
Or what's happened I start work at 11. So it's like stuff has happened. I wake up at 7 o'clock. Stuff has happened before then.
Yeah,
So like,
absolutely.
it just depends. Also,
Absolutely.
like I have a social life. I have like a life in general. So like
Yeah.
stuff could be happening outside of the salon. That's like affecting the way that I'm just like feeling in general today.
for
so
sure.
it is not personal. I just want to make people's bangs look nice.
Yeah, just cut nice bangs.
I just want to cut nice
on
bangs.
small
No one yell at me.
foreheads.
Yeah. No. Please.
Please,
Don't
no
get-
small foreheads.
Clip-on bangs. Why don't you clip-on bangs? You know?
Ooh, yeah.
If you have a small forehead, get clip-on bangs because then you can move them back.
So I feel like, I'm the opposite where I have a larger forehead, and at least I think so.
I was like, your forehead looks normal to me.
Does it?
I also think everybody's.
I have a
everybody's
high
forehead's
forehead.
normal.
It's a little higher. It's okay. But but I've always been like, I wonder what kind of bangs would look good on a higher forehead.
I mean, it's similar
Which-
to bangs is a relative term. I try to explain to people that like they'll say I want so haircut lesson with Claire. A bang is something that goes above your eyes.
Okay.
A bang is considered in European terms fringe, which is something that goes up here. If it is below your eye level, it is no longer a bang. So
okay.
anything that's below your eye level, like where these are, below here is face framing. So
okay.
anything else, so people are like, I want curtain bangs that start here. That's not right.
That's not
And like
a bang.
obviously I have to kind of put things like in the back of my brain when people are like, I
Yeah.
want this and this, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
sure. And in my head I'm like, no,
You know what they mean,
no,
but you're like, I'm
yes.
not gonna.
Someone sits in my chair like, I want a butterfly cut, and I'm like, You want layers?
Yes.
Please,
Yes.
they're holding me hostage. But I think for people that have like finer hair and also blondes, you have to be like wary of where you're cutting bangs, because if you have fine hair and you're blonde and you're continuously getting your hair bleached, obviously bleach makes breakage. And you have to be careful about how short the pieces are around your face, because the front hairline, so anything within 2 inches of your hairline is your front, where people are seeing like these Scandinavian hairlines. I don't know what the fuck that means. But like anything around there, that hair is much finer than the rest of your head, so it lifts faster, but it breaks quicker. So like you have to be very careful about like length and where you're putting them and all that kind of stuff. Do you heat style it a lot? Because the shorter you make them, the more likely you're gonna end up having little baby pieces that are gonna break your hair off. And that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But for your does this piece? Let me see it.
Yes.
Gimme. This, I think that like something like that moves with this little guy.
The what do they call it? A slut strand or something? I don't know. That's what I've heard before.
That's
Which
technically, I don't know your
does not
lifestyle.
apply. Does
I don't
not
know your
apply.
lifestyle.
So I just call it my front piece. But
yeah, no, your face framing pieces.
Wait, is there a backstory to slut strand? Beside it just being called
No,
that?
I'm just saying.
Oh, when you said
your
okay,
backstory.
I didn't know if it was like
Slut's a relative term.
it is right. Of course, yeah.
That has to do with your life, not mine. I'm not calling you a slut strand because I don't know anything about you. But like these little pieces in the front, they have a natural bend to them right about here.
Okay.
Which is where that boink boink. So usually if I'm like touching somebody's hair, I kind of like just move it around and see where it hangs. The shortest piece I would do is right here, because that's where your natural hair likes to bend.
So you wouldn't do a shorter bang because of that natural bend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
fascinating.
it has a natural bend here, because if I did it up here, that usually means like the weight of this is always going to be straight. So
that sounds terrible.
Yeah. So like if you just like yeah, exactly.
No.
So like I try to, when I do people's hair, I use the term, if you're a hairstylist, people use the term intuitive hair cutting. So I just like cut what looks like it needs to be cut in my head. I don't do like structured haircuts. I don't do structured sectioning, everything like that. It's literally like I cut what looks like needs to be cut. Yeah. Because no one's hair is going to lay perfectly every single time. That's not realistic.
That's cool. Intuitive cutting.
Yeah. So I just pick up pieces that look wrong to me and just beep, beep, beep.
That's so good to hear. I feel like you just tied a bow on something that I've questioned for so long, which is, would bangs look good on me? And that answer, like, because I would be worried that they would hang like that.
You could have like a couple shorter pieces, sure, but the general structure of them, I would like them to live around your cheekbones. Okay. Because like also just like with when people have like blue eyes or anything like a light eye color, having too much bang can kind of just like create a shadow on your face. Yeah. And it can just kind of like cover up that, unless you're in like perfect lighting all the time. Yeah, it's not always like gonna be realistic. Yeah, like this lighting. Yeah, it's like, so if you have like nice lighting, then that's great. But however, like anything else, it can kind of just like darken your features. And if you have light features, you want to keep them as open as possible. And also, that makes sense. I'm a big advocate for, hey, I want to see what your face looks like. I want to see what your face looks like. Yes, there are bangs that are cutie pie. Like I like Zooey Deschanel's bangs. She has light eyes, but she has dark hair, light eyes. So the contrast of having hair closer to her eyes makes her eyes pop, but when your hair is blonde and your eyes are light, it doesn't give you that same contrast. So the more away your hair is from your face, the more your eyes can have an opportunity to stand out, because there's nothing that's in contrast making them look lighter. That makes sense. Yeah. I love that there really is so much to hairstyling and cutting hair. It's not like, I don't know, growing up, I just, in the, late 90s and in the 2000s as a kid getting my hair cut, it was just like, there was nothing to it. Like they didn't, I don't know. And granted, I wasn't going to salons like where you work, but yeah. I went to nice salons and I had some, I had some not fun haircuts. We got bang, or I asked for layers. I wanted my friend to cut my hair that worked in the salon. She was busy, but didn't tell me till right before my appointment. I was like, whatever, I'll have this other girl do it. She was great with hair, so she did it. Loved that haircut. Then the next time, I was like, okay, I want my friend to do it this time. She did it. Ooh. Oh my God, was it wrong? And I went to when I would flip, I had a bob, and when I went to flip my hair over, my layers were spikes sticking out of my head. Gosh. And then I went home and I tried to fix it myself, and I was going through the sections, and I was like, it's right, but it's wrong. What is wrong here? It's so close. Something's not right. And I had my friend at the next salon I worked at look at it, and I was like, Jerry, what is happening?
And
he looked at it and he was like, I don't know. Like we were really like, why does it look bad? Yeah. And then we realized that like when you cut layers, you're basing the length of your layers, like I was talking about earlier with ratios. Mm-hmm. The length of your layers are subjective to the length of your hair in general. So like a short layer, you need a short layer if you have short hair. So my hair was like bob, so you need short layers. So like on a person with long hair, if you cut layers to here, you'd be like, but like,
so wait, you would call this a bob?
No.
Oh. No,
I did have a bob.
You did have a bob. I did have a bob. Okay.
Technically, my hair is growing into bob length. When I part my hair forward and I have bangs that like go forward, then it can be giving bob.
Okay.
I mean, I'm trying to grow my hair out.
To what?
I don't fucking know.
Okay. TBD.
I've been having a lot of pressure from outside sources. I've been trying to. When I started getting more masculine, I started going like, oh, well, let me get as gay as possible. Let me start to be masculine and blah, blah, blah. Because when I was more feminine presenting, people were not getting it.
Oh, God, tell me about it.
Which is shocking.
Yeah.
Because look at me. Put a wig on me, no one's getting fooled. Doesn't matter.
Right. If you put a wig on, no one's suddenly going to be like, straight girl.
No, I had long hair. No, but I was going to like gay clubs with a bunch of like slippery big buff gay men, and those
slippery
that's the only time I've ever felt homophobic in my life is going into a gay club.
Oh
my god, they're so mean. Why are they like that?
No.
And it's like, hey, it's just like misogynistic and weird, and like misogynistic, weird, assuming that because I'm not a boy I can't be gay. Like, I don't know, let's be so for real right now. But also like, hey girl, would you talk to your mother with that mouth?
Right.
It's like literally for real. I'm like, I have been verbally accosted the most about my sexuality from gay men rather than straight people. I have like
from
not
gay men specifically.
I have not experienced like a homophobic anything from straight men, only from gay men. From being in clubs, being like, I went to like one of my friends was performing, and she was it wasn't even a gay club. It just happened to have gay people in it. But like, was at a club. She was performing one song, and that was it. Mm-hmm. And I only came for her. I didn't know any of the other performers. And so there was these big tall gay boys in front of me, and I came with my girlies, and I'm like known as the videographer of our friends. So I'm like, I'm gonna get a good video of you, whether anybody likes it or not. So I tapped these little boys on the shoulder, and I'm like, hey, my friend is like performing. She's only doing one song. Can I like step in front of you because they're so tall I couldn't see over them? And I was like, is it okay if I just take a video and then I'll be out of your hair? Like, no worries. And he goes, no. And I was like, okay.
Wow.
You could have just said no, but also, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
But I was like, it's literally just one song. I'm not interested in seeing anybody else. Like, I will get out of your hair. Like, no worries. And he was like, maybe ask me in like 3 minutes and I'll decide if I change my mind. And I was like, what the hell is going on?
Wow.
It's a movie. I was like looking behind myself. I was like, anyone else hearing what just happened just now? But okay, work. Wow. And so like I'm recording like between their shoulders, whatever. And then I tell my friends, I go over to my friends, and I'm like, these dudes like would not let me stand and record our friend. And they were like, oh, what the hell? Like, they were pissed. Like, the girls were like rallying. Yeah. And so they would walk over, and they were like, was that worth it for you? Like, what was the deal? And he was like, you're not gay, you don't belong here, like screaming in my face. Like, you're not gay, you don't belong here. Like, I don't even know why you're trying to like be in this space. Like, this isn't for you.
God.
And I was like, look at me.
Wow.
Look at me. 1, 2. Also, how do you know?
Yeah.
Also, exactly. I will fuck your mom. So I'm so sorry. I just can't. I'm like, don't. Yeah. I'm not the one. But then like later on, I was so like shell shocked by that experience, because I was like, hey, isn't that what we're preaching? Ain't that what we're preaching? That everybody's supposed to be having a good time in here, acceptance of all. Like, what are we doing here? And also like, hey, I am. So if I was like a straight girl being like, no, I belong here.
Oh
like,
my
that's
God.
not what I'm doing. But I'm like, just okay, unslay of you. And then I like ended up crying later, and then I was not having a good time. But I was just like, that was when I was really coming to terms with like sexuality as a whole. And so I was like, okay, well, obviously I don't look gay if little twinks are yelling at me. I don't want that. I don't
because
want that. I look like a twink. I don't, like, let me be them. And so I was like, okay, what the heck? So I started dressing more masculine. I pretty much dressed like this before when I was more feminine presenting. I wore a lot of crop tops. That was a big thing for me.
Yeah, same.
Wore a lot of crop tops. My body looks very different then, so I do not do that now. But I wore a lot of crop tops. I pretty much wear the same outfits now, but I started cutting my hair because I was like, well, that's one thing I can control.
Yes.
I can stop wearing as much makeup. I'm a makeup artist and a hairstylist. So like those are two things that are super strong into my identity as a person. So it was really hard for me to understand what I could change first. So I started changing like my clothes to more cargo pants, tennis shoes, big t-shirts, that kind of thing. But I was working at a salon at the time, like a boutique salon, and my boss I started wearing like more masculine stuff, but my hair was still long. And she told me, she was like, hey, like you're doing great, but I think maybe we shouldn't be wearing such like more like athleisure clothes, like that kind of thing. And like, she's super nice, love her. Yeah. But I was like, you wouldn't be telling me this if I was more masculine presenting as a person. Like this, you wouldn't be telling a guy this. That's not how it works. You wouldn't be telling him to come to work in loafers. Like we're not doing that. And so I was like, okay. So then I started cutting my hair. And when I started cutting my hair, nobody had anything to say about it. There was no discourse about my clothes. Because then it clicked, and then it was like they were able to reconcile those things. But when it was like straight people, it's hard to like understand why like that's different. Like me wearing these clothes is different than like one of the other girls wearing them. Like this is my own gender expression that I'm trying to figure out.
It's not casual or like I don't give a fuck. It's your gender expression.
That yes. And also I had just moved and I had like no money. I moved out here and I had been gaining weight and I was like, none of my jeans fit me anymore. Like I feel more comfortable in these clothes. I started like hiding my body more, like wearing bigger t-shirts and pants and stuff, but then it made me feel more confident. And then when I cut my hair, I was getting so much positive attention from that. So it was kind of like revalidating my own self after being kind of like self-conscious about like not being familiar with my own body of some sorts. But then cutting my hair off, trying to appease to more gay people, being like, maybe more people will think that I'm gay if I like cut my hair. And then I was going crazy with it. I got a little too far over. Like, I went a little too far over the edge. I just kind of was like, oh, shave off the side.
Yeah,
like,
let's just keep it going. Keep the party going.
Yeah. But then it got to the point where I was just like, I'm losing a part of myself that got me here, which is hair and makeup. And I feel like I can't do stuff to myself or like whatever. Like I'm a hairstylist and I'm having these brands being like, we want you to do these and this, and I'm like, well, unfortunately my hair is an inch long, so I don't know who you want me to do it on. But like that was very much like my issue of like, I stopped wearing makeup because I was like, well, I don't want people to think this and I don't want to come off too feminine, and I was getting such good attention with more like masculine energy, but I was like, I don't have one side of me or another one, right? You know, like I loved doing hair and makeup on people when I was dressing more feminine or more masculine, because I could like express that part of myself that I wasn't doing anymore to myself. Yeah. But it took recently, I was like kind of having like a moment of like, do I like dressing like this? Like, do I like looking like this? Like, yes, I feel comfortable, but like, I don't necessarily like being put in a box, because it almost kind of made me internally start thinking differently, like in the ways that I just like am in relationships and whatever.
Was the box mask?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, being put in a box of like being masculine, I felt like being like, everybody sees me. And recently, since I like cut my hair and since I started pushing, everyone assumes I'm a lesbian. They assume I'm a lesbian. And I am like, while I'll never like deter someone from like labeling me from something, because I'm not going to take offense to being called lesbian. Right. And I'm not going to be like, actually, like, I don't care. Yeah. Who cares? It's like, it's my own internal thing. It's invalidating when it comes from somebody that knows otherwise. And if they're saying it in a like derogatory way, to be like, lesbian, like, okay, first of all, relax. Yeah. But also, I'm not gonna say no because I don't care. Sure. Yeah. But
I think there's something to this idea. Do you identify as bi?
Pansexual.
Pan. Okay. So there's this idea that bi plus women and people can't be masc or can't be masc femme. It's like if you're bi or if you're pan, you're like a femme girly and this and that. And so it's like if you are presenting masc, even some of the time, there's this idea that you're like a lesbian in denial. Yeah. And like, like you can't be
I almost convinced myself at one point that maybe I was. Yeah. Because it was just like, I was surrounded by so many people that were so sure of what they were. And like, I was so unsure about what I liked, because even when I was only seeing men, I was so particular about the people that I was dating, because it didn't matter how attractive you were. It didn't matter what you thought of me. I was like when I was growing up, I got labeled as prude. I like didn't want to sleep with I was like, I didn't want to sleep with anybody. And I didn't like have my first kiss till I was 18. I was just like, I don't want to touch any of you because also your personality like one, I'm not attracted to you, and two, you suck. Like, why would I want to do that? And like with now being an adult, my like radar is so much of who are you rather than like what do you look like, who cares, like I don't care. Like there can be somebody who's so attractive to everybody else and it just doesn't click with me. And it got harder because then I was like, okay, maybe at first I was like, oh, maybe I don't know, I don't think all girls are hot. And my friends were like, you don't think all guys are hot? And I was like, what? Oh my God, what? I didn't even think about it like that. Shoot. Because I was like, oh, I'm so picky with guys. Like, why am I not allowed? I always just assumed because I heard the discourse coming from my other gay friends of like, I'm just like obsessed with women. I just like blah, blah, blah. And a lot of my friends were very hypersexual. And so when I was coming to terms with my sexuality, they were like, well, would you do this to a girl? And I'm like, I wouldn't do that to a guy either.
Oh my God, you're speaking to my soul right now.
I was like, I don't know. I don't think so.
There's totally this idea that like if you are sapphic of any sort, of any variety, that you have to just be obsessed with all women and want to be with romantically all women. And it's like, no, I'm like picky about my connection with anyone of any gender, you know? So but that, I don't know why that's so hard for a lot of queer women and people to grasp. And I wonder how authentic that even is for the people that are saying that. Like they're saying, I'm obsessed with you. Maybe it is. Like, I'm not going to invalidate their experience, but it's almost become like this trope of like, in order to be a sapphic, you need to just be obsessed with all women and like want to get with all women or whatever. And it's like, I can appreciate them, but I'm not attracted to everyone. Like,
that's just not realistic. Well, it's disingenuous and it's not helpful towards anybody's narrative at all. Because I think that I realize that a lot of people that are saying that kind of stuff is because I noticed it the most from before I moved when I was in Ohio, that there was a specific, you had to fit this exact list of if you do these things, then you're gay. And I like when I left Ohio, I had a bad friend breakup of somebody who was pointing fingers and saying I was like bandwagoning on my sexuality and my mental health and all these kinds of things. And I was like, hey, shut up. Hey, shut up, one. And two, because this was a person I really confided a lot of my personal thoughts to. And like trying to figure out, I was like, I always felt like there had to be a name. Like there always had to be a name for what I was thinking. There had to be a name or a label for me. And I was like, I don't feel this way. I don't feel that way. And I was telling her all of these things. So it was so hurtful when she said that I was like, maybe I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like maybe she's seeing something that I'm not seeing. But I realized it was from a lot of people that don't have a lot of options and they're stuck in one place. So they fear that that's the only end goal. There's only one thing you can do. If you're gay, you do this because this is all I've seen. I've only lived here. I've never seen anything else. So like, if you don't do this like the other people here, you obviously aren't like us. You know what I mean? And so like we're in a place where I was from, like where I grew up, it was, I don't want to say it was a small town because it's not like 400 people. Like it's not that. I lived in like Columbus, like in the city of Columbus. Like there's a ton of people. But where I went to school, like growing up, I switched schools when I was a senior, but where I grew up, there was 5 elementary schools, 2 middle schools, 1 high school. So like you really didn't stretch farther out than that. And I got like just ragged on for being friends with people from other school districts. I was like, that's such a weird thing to like care. Who cares? You're going to go to college.
I got shit for that too.
I was like, you're going to go to college. Well, who cares?
It's the most random
It didn't make
thing.
any sense. And I was like, okay, well, tell me like later when you're only friends with the same people. But like, they wonder how I got here. Maybe from talking to other people than like the same 10 girls. But like, when you're with that, it's so hard to even entertain other conversations with other people and other new people when I'm literally getting shit on just for being friends with people from other schools, that I'm like, I can't even think about that because the people that I'm constantly surrounding myself, there was an ongoing joke of like, it was they'd be calling people les, like, oh, like they're les, blah, blah, blah. And they would do it to me specifically because they knew it would make me uncomfortable because I wasn't a touchy person. So like, they'd be like all like hugging me and blah, blah, blah. And then they like making fun of me. I'm like, and also, hey, one of them is a lesbian now, so shut up.
Okay, so a little bit of projecting.
Literally, my childhood bully is fully gay now, so it makes a lot of sense.
But like, doesn't the math add?
It always
why was she so obsessed with you?
That's what I'm saying. Well, it's like she relax, but like that that prerogative of there's nothing new, so it can't exist. Everything that is in front of me, that is everything that there is. Like, I will never expand outside of this and whatever. So I just assumed, because of what I was being given, which is a specific pool of people, that I didn't feel that way because I literally had never seen other people. Like, and because I'm so emotion oriented, I have to meet you. Yeah. So I can't just see a picture of a pretty girl in a magazine. I don't feel that. I don't I can't be like, oh, I did this or that. I was like, I know I don't think they're attractive. I don't think the guys in here are attractive either. Yeah. I didn't have my first boyfriend until I was like 17 maybe, but like that I'm like, I just don't, it doesn't come to me through seeing you. I have to know you. And
well, that's kind of like Demi.
Yeah. Like, it is very much,
which I'm sure you've looked into.
No, literally, that was one of my questions of like that kind of thing. It's just like, I have to feel comfortable with you. I have to know you to even open the discussion of being attracted to somebody.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
That's fascinating. So I feel like for me, because I've also looked into the Demi thing and been like, God, am I Demi? Not that there's anything wrong with that, but just like wondering if there's yet another label to explore.
I just say Pam because people already are on my ass about saying anything but bi. I'm like, I'm just trying to be as inclusive as I can, because it really is just like whoever, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, like with the Demi stuff, it's like I can see someone and I can feel that physical, sexual attraction, whatever, but I do have to make an emotional, mental connection to feel romantic feelings or like take it any further than that. And I also am not like, I just can't do casual hookups and things like that either. Yeah, so it's like, in that way,
dating is hard. I can't even go on like dates really. I try. Really? Girls are really nice, but I'm like, I just don't.
So you're more probably like friends first vibes. Yeah. That's what my partner and I currently, we were friends for a brief time, but we were friends first. And I feel like it establishes there's no pressure. Yeah. It's not like, do I have to go home with this stranger? Not that you have to, but you know what I mean? You just like can get comfortable and safe and get to know someone as a person.
Yeah. I can't like it. The ideal of, I don't do casual hookups. I've seen a lot of discourse. I saw a video the other day, kind of almost like circling back to like the general like LA scene of people. I saw a video of someone talking about like a lesbian influencer and being like, I think that they're like a serial monogamous and blah blah blah, and I was like, first of all, using the word serial in a term about dating is crazy, because it seems like it's a crime. And also like, hey, some people value genuine connection. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, do people maybe think of me like that? Because I feel like I'm like, I date people, or I'm seeing one person at a time. Yes. So like to other people, they're like, oh, that they're a serial monogamist. I'm like, no, I'm actually just not like fucking 10 people at once. Right. Like, believe it or not. And why is focusing on one person being villainized versus dating 8 people at once and like having an emotional connection with that many people and no one knowing where anyone is, like that kind of thing. I'm like, why is dating one person at a time a bad thing? I don't understand that.
I don't even, and I don't know if the complaint is that, or if it's that the person can't be alone in between. Sure. Because I've seen that where it's like the relationship hopper, no alone time in between. Sure. That's like fair, probably should work on that. But like, just being a relationship person versus being in hookup culture.
No, it doesn't make any sense to me. And it's also like, if you're somebody who is, because I'm fine with being by myself. I like to provide for somebody. I like to do things for people. I love language as acts of service. I like having someone there. I am more than happy and functional and very stable in my life of what's going on. But like, I'm in the place where I'm like, I would like a partner. I would like to do that. So I'm okay with dating a person after another. If it doesn't work out, it's usually not because I'm like, when I date someone, like I said, I'm so picky. I like that person. So it's not like I'm going from anyone I can get. It's like, no, like if I like you, I like you. And then I will, until we figure out what happens, I'm only going to see that person. And so like my parents or my friends will be like, what's your dating life like? And I'm like, I don't know, like whoever, I guess that one's not happening. So whenever the next one happens. But like, if you're somebody who shares those things, in reality, a lot of people are like, oh, they're dating one person after the other. I'm like, let's really do a timeline here. Because the amount of friends that I have, they're like, the amount of my straight girlfriends are like me and my 8 boyfriends. Well, then why are we getting mad at people for dating one person at a time, like in a row?
Right.
Because they're probably going to end up dating one of their boyfriends. Like that kind of like, hey, why can't I have 2 boyfriends? Why can't I be challengers? Why can't I have that? But like, I can't have one and people are being mad at me. It's like, I feel bad for that person because obviously I don't know them like to the extent where like, if they've been like fucking over people or something like that. But like for me, even my friends will be like, damn, man, what is going on? Why do you keep getting screwed like that? And I'm like, dude, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I really try my hardest to be the partner that I have not had.
Oh God.
And like, I've really tried to do my best to really like step out for people. I'm 27. Like my brain is developed. I've got it. I've got it handled. I've done lots of therapy. I'm medicated. I'm very like head on my shoulders kind of thing. So I'm thankfully at a point where I don't accept behavior past, like if somebody says like, I don't know if I can, I say, okay. And then that's it. Right. There's no like, so it seems like it's one person to the next, but it's like, no, I don't allow people to use me past the expiration date. I'm not going to like sit and say like, oh, well, they're dating only like monogamous. I'm like, no, I don't let someone mistreat me further than when they told me they can't give me what I need.
Right.
I'm like, and that's not a bad thing.
Yes. And also it's when people show you who they are, believe them the first time.
I've been just doing that.
And but like people who maybe haven't done as much work and therapy will see that as like, you're not giving people enough of a chance or you're cutting them off.
Oh,
and it's like,
I give a chance.
No. Yeah. Right.
I give a chance. Don't get me wrong. I give too many chances sometimes. But like, even that is like, people, especially women, are so used to overusing themselves mentally in the sense of like, I have to be forgiving, I have to be nurturing, I have to do this, I have to like they didn't mean it. Yeah, they didn't mean it. I want to put my feet in their shoes. Like, I'll do that. Don't get me wrong. I will do it to a certain extent until we've had a conversation about it. But as soon as I have a conversation about it and then there's no action towards it, or if their answer is, oh, I can't do that, so never mind. Okay. Yeah. But it is my responsibility to bring that conversation to a head if I feel like they're doing some sort of behavior that I don't like or something like that. If I have not said anything, it is not their responsibility to read my mind. So unless I am saying something about it, I cannot be like, well, they did this and they did that. I can say they did this and they did that once I bring it to their attention and they don't care. Right. But like, unless I've said something, my hands are off the wheel. But if that person just wants a partner, like if I want a partner and then this person says, oh, well, hey, I don't go up and want to date people that suck. Like when I meet people that I date, I think the best of them. Obviously, it took me a while to find them or start to talk to them, like whatever.
Yes, and you're selective.
Yes, I'm very selective. So like, if I'm doing that, it's because they don't suck. And if later on, during the talking stages or in the beginnings, they're very interactive, they want to do things, they want to blah blah blah, I am basing my answer off of your actions. So if you are doing all these things, if you're saying all these things, I'm taking everything at face value. Right. So if all of a sudden you're like, I don't know, what, dude, hey, what, that's happened so many times, and then they'll immediately get in another relationship. And I'm like, if you are just not rocking with it, just let me know. That's totally cool. But I've been allowing you to hold yourself on the pedestal I've given you, which is they didn't mean it. They told me that they just weren't ready. I want to give people grace. I want to be understanding, and I want to make sure that I'm giving the grace to people that I would hope that they would give to me if I made a mistake or if I was really just not feeling it. But if you're just like, I just don't know if this is for me, that's totally cool and that's totally fine. But it has very much been a pattern that I've seen of people, like when they have a lot of followings, when they post their relationships, like I'm very much a person that says, let people have their fun. Let people have their fun. I do not like being a hater. I am not like, I don't care if it's for clout. I don't care if it's for PR. I don't care, whatever. Let people enjoy things. Let people enjoy things.
If it's fun for you, do it.
Slay. Like if you're having a good time, work. If everyone else is having a good time, also work. But like, if somebody's posting their relationship online and they have a lot of following and people are mad about doing that, I'm pretty sure you probably posted your boyfriend too. I'm pretty sure you probably posted your girlfriend too. Yeah. They're normal people that they're excited. Yeah. They're excited about the person they're with. It probably took a minute for them to get to this point. Like they probably had a lot of discussion, but like, let people enjoy themselves. Like from all of the life that I have lived and the traumas that I have endured, a lot of things, especially towards relationships, which like I've had really bad things happen with relationships, and my biggest takeaway is we're all alive. Like, we're all alive. We're all still here. Like, that person did you dirty. Let him go. Let him go. Let him. Their karmic circle will come back to them. But holding on to resentment and anger about the way that people do things, or even if you don't know them, or if you do know them and you were dating them, or they're your friend doing this, let them go. Let them go. We're all here. We're all having a great time. Let people enjoy themselves. Let people enjoy themselves. And also, like, let people make their own decisions. Like, as much as people think that, like, making TikToks about, like, big influencers and stuff will make them change their life, no, it won't. No. It will. It quite literally will not. And also, that goes towards people without followings. Yeah. You can never tell somebody what to do with their lives until they're ready to do something about it. And also, they don't know a lot of the time. Like, hey, man, it's all of our first time out here. It's my first day up here, dude.
Absolutely.
Like, shoot, I just work here. I don't know. Yeah. But, like, all you can do is just say your piece and let it go.
Yeah.
You know?
I love what you were saying, and the message of this is everybody's first
It's everybody's first rodeo, man.
First rodeo, and keeping that in mind just every day, whether it's your parents or people online or your friends or your partner or whoever it is. Like, yeah, we're all just trying to figure it out. And, like, yeah. I really like that message in general, because there's just a mindfulness to it that we all, and toward yourself.
Yeah.
Remembering that to yourself. So
just give people a break.
Yeah.
Give people a break. It's all our first times out here, man.
When you're pissed off, when you're annoyed, whatever, pause and be like, it's their first time. Could I give them a break on this?
Yeah. Like, well, can I give them a break? And if I can't, let them know.
Yeah, absolutely. Because yes, again, accountability. Absolutely. Yeah. There has to be accountability. There has to be checks and balances, but give people a break when you can. And yeah.
Ask, don't assume. Always.
Yeah.
Ask, don't assume.
That's a good one.
You never know.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. This was I feel like we covered, like, so many different topics. I love it.
Two ADHD people, like,
I love it. It is ping pong. If two people have ADHD, it is ping pong.
Like Donnie Wild Thornberries.
Yeah.